In this video, we are going to learn about how to pass an array inside a function. So here is the topic for this video: how to pass an array inside a function. You all know what is a function. You all know what is an array. So this video is just a cumulative concept, how to pass an array inside a function in C++. So let's see. So first, let us define an array, like let's say an integer array called array1 of size, let's say 4, and let us initialize it with 4 arbitrary number, let's say 20, 44, 56, 87, something like this. So this is my array. Now my motivation is to pass this array inside a function and perform some operation on the array. So let us try to define the problem, like pass array1 in a function called function1 and calculate the sum of all the element of the array inside that function. So you all know how to calculate the sum of all the elements of an array, but this time you have to perform this operation inside a function called function1, or let's give it a nice name like sum of array. So that's what you have to do. So first, let us start with declaring a function prototype for the array. So how to declare a function prototype where an parameter is an array? For that purpose, what you have to do is first the return type of the function. So I want to get the result of the function as the sum of the array, sum of some integer number. So the result should also be an integer. So this is int, let's call it sum of array, and now I have to pass the integer array, not a normal integer. So what I have to do is int followed by this box bracket, then followed by the array name, like this. And also you have to pass the size of the array, like size or length of the array, that is how many elements are there in the array. So let's call it size. So now let us just do this. So here is my function, and now let us call this sum of array function with both the parameters. The first parameter will be the array of our choice, which is array1, and then the size of the array, which in our case is 4. So let's do it. Sum of array, and then let's do an array1 followed by the size of the array called 4. So let us see whether this type of syntax is allowed in C++ or not. So, all right, it gave me some kind of error. What is the error? It looks like I have messed up with the syntax. So it should be int array and here also it should be int array. So now let us see. So now this is an accepted syntax. So whenever you want to pass an array in C++, what you have pass an array in a C++ function, what you have to do is, after the variable name, you have to put a opening and closing closing box bracket in both function prototype as well as in function heading, the actual function. And now once you are done with this, then you can pass an array as a parameter. Pass as an array, actual array as an argument. So in the parameter, you have to use this opening and closing box bracket just to tell the compiler that okay, the C++ function is expecting an array here. So now let us see whether the array have been actually passed or not inside this function. We will implement the logic for sum later, but before that let us see whether the array have been passed or not. So let us try to print the entire array inside this function. So let's do something like this. For to print an array you have to use a loop. For int index equals 0, index less than size, which is 4, that is coming from this here, and index plus plus. And then let us do a cout, and here it is, array index, and then just space just to identify each numbers properly. So let us see whether it is working properly or not. So let us run it, and as you can see that this is working properly. So the array was initialized with 20, 44, 56, 87. It is passed into the function called sum of array, and inside this sum of array, now it is printing all the elements of the original array. So this is how you have to pass the array. Now here in this compiler, it automatically takes a integer return, so that's why you did not get an error. But whenever you will test something, just try to put the return type and this return value similarly accordingly, so that your program does not throw any error. So anyway, so this is how the array have been passed. Now let us do the actual work, that is to calculate the sum, and then we will change the return value from 0 to something, the actual sum. So it should be int sum equals 0, then the same thing for int I equals 0 and everything. And here what I need to do is sum equals sum plus array index, and that is it. And instead of writing sum equals sum plus array index, you can choose to write like sum plus equals array index. So that is also a valid syntax. And now here let us return the value of sum. And now here I am returning sum. So now in here, so let us see whether everything is working properly or not first. So run this program, and well, I really do not need this part of code anymore. This was just for the testing purpose, whether the array is passed properly or not inside the function. So let me get rid of this part of code. which was printing, and otherwise yes, everything is okay, but it is not printing anything because I did not use cout in here. So let us print the sum of the array, and now if I run it, I'll see that okay, 207 have been printed. So let's check whether this 20 plus 44 plus 56 plus 87, what is the value of it. So it is correctly printed as 207. So 20 plus 44 is 64. 64 plus 56, it is so let us use this Google calculator to check whether everything is proper or not, instead of wasting any time. So here it is 20 plus 44 plus 56 plus 87. If I just add this, well, as you can see, it is coming as 207. So our program is perfectly all right. So this is how you have to pass an array inside a function. That is array int, the data type of the array, followed by the name, followed by an opening and closing box bracket. Nothing inside, but these box brackets are just to tell the compiler that in this location the function is expecting an array.